Welcome. So in front of me, as you can probably guess, I have the entire lineup of all the brand new Galaxy Tab devices. So this is the S8, S8 Plus, and S8 Ultra. And I just wanted to go over a quick comparison, just because, to be honest, the prices and specs are a little bit different, and in certain cases they're not really that much different to justify the forking out the extra price. So let's start off with the display, because this is probably the one section that will vary drastically depending on which option you go for. So starting off with the smallest one, just flip it over, there we go. So the smallest one, we're looking at We're looking at a 11-inch display, which is something that I'd consider a competition to the Apple iPad Mini 6. That one had an 8-inch display, but still they're fairly close together. And at this point, it's more like, you can just pick whichever one. Though, truth be told, I think I would prefer to go with an iPad, even though I don't really like Apple. iPad seems to be a better choice, at least for what I would like to have, just because it's number one, a little bit smaller, and number two, it's basically half the price. So there we go. Now, a little bit of a benefit right here for all of these compared to iPads, because that's probably one of the only things that I can really compare it to that is running like flagship specs. So that's why I'm comparing it constantly to iPads, as Samsung always comes with an S Pen. Now, you do, to be fair, pay extra for it, and in certain cases it's not really that much worth it. When it comes down to it, Apple does have overpriced phones, but their tablet section, at least the the normal ones, not if you're not going for like the pluses or whatever, seems to be fairly competitively priced. Now, you don't get pen with them, but you also don't pay twice as much, so you get something for something. And additionally, pen doesn't really cost that other half of the price. So there we go. One thing that I also kind of found interesting is a pen. If you have more than one S8, I don't know if it works farther back. If you have more than one S8, you can actually use the same pen on each one of them. They're basically cross-compatible between themselves. And I assume you might be also able to use this with a Galaxy S22, but I'm guessing, so don't quote me on that one. But yeah, going back to these devices right here, so like I mentioned before, 11-inch, it's a 1600 by 2560 pixels, so this is the smallest resolution out of them all, from what I remember. All of them do spec out higher with the screen resolution. And additionally, this is the only one that is running a TFT display. Both of these are running a Super AMOLED screens, all of them 120 Hz, so that's at least nice. So there we go. Those are probably the key difference in terms of the display side, the display itself. Obviously, one thing that you probably see, the S8 Ultra, even though it's the biggest one, it has the smallest bezels, and I assume it's done just to keep you more interested in this. It looks much more appealing with the super thin bezels. These ones not only have a smaller display, but also bigger bezels. Go figure. And ironically, it looks like, I think the actual, the smallest one has the thickest bezels. At least I think. I don't have any way to measure it, so it might just be a illusion right now, just because this is bigger. But there's no denying that these bezels right here are significantly smaller. So if you're looking for some super thin bezels, then I guess you're gonna go for this. But that introduces another problem with this specific model right here, which is the damn notch. What the hell is this? Do you see this? It literally boasts a notch. It rocks two cameras in here. So we have both 12 megapixel sensors, and at the back we have 13 and 6 megapixel. Now the back sensors, cameras, are exactly the same over all three of them. So at the end of the day, to be completely honest, all you pay for in these devices is the bigger battery when you well, go with a bigger size. Though the battery size increase isn't anything substantial, to be honest. Like this thing is, what is it, twice as big? Almost twice as big. Maybe not exactly twice, but hey, guess what? The battery difference isn't twice. So this smallest one has a 8,000 mAh battery. This one has 10,090, and this one does not have 16K. This one has 11,200. So it's a relatively small increase in battery compared to, well, what you actually get. Now, truth be told, this is a little bit of a thicker device, which I actually realized when placing them side by side. So if I lift them up, you can see that, there we go. So you can see that the smallest one is the thickest. Let's actually maybe put it like this. Now it is not thick by much, but it is there, as you can see. There is a, come on, there we go. There is a little bit of a lip. It might be a millimeter or so, but it's there. And actually, let's compare this to this one. So it looks like, in terms of comparing it to this, the Ultra and S8 Plus have the same thickness, but the smallest one is, again, for some reason thicker. Honestly, at this point, I don't get why they named it the same, considering it's just kind of like it's been left out. Comparing it to the S Ultra and the S Plus, this one seems like it doesn't fit, because number one, we have a fingerprint on a side. These ones have under display. We have just thicker bezel, smaller battery, and completely different display type over the two here. I understand that these are cheaper, but boy oh boy, they're not cheaper enough to skimp out on such a, well, key features, I would say. So in terms of price tags, we're looking right here at a 750 euro device. Then if we go with the S8 Plus, we're looking at a 950, and then right here at the highest size, we're looking at 1,150 euros. So the price right here jumps quite significantly, and the only thing you're really paying for is the bigger battery and the bigger screen, because all of them have the same processor, which is Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. All of them have options ranging from 8 to 16 gigs of RAM, and actually no, my bad, not 16. The smallest one again is a little bit left out, because actually no, not even the smallest one, both of these. So they all start from like 8 gigs of RAM, but the Ultra can go up to 16. So this one actually has the biggest RAM capacity. So yeah, that being said, you can, if you're planning to go for anything below 16, so up to 12, all of them can go from 8 to 12. So there we go. And yeah, to be honest, personally, from using this one, and this is kind of like having a monitor in your hand instead of a tablet. If you're planning to get one of them, I don't think this is actually worth the money. Maybe if you're like artist and you really need bigger canvas, this might be good, but for any other kind of use, I don't really, let me move this out of the way. I don't really think it's worth the extra money, just because this does basically everything that this one does, but at a little bit more reasonable size. And at the end of the day, this one just seems like it's been mistreated, considering iPad Mini 6 can do whatever this does basically as well at half the price. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously. I believe iPad Mini might be a little bit worse in performance than this, but I have no idea. I haven't really actually checked the benchmarks. The iPad Mini came out like, what, 1.5 years ago right now, or about a year ago. So performance might be lacking compared to this, but like I'm saying, I am literally right now kind of speculating. So this is nothing that is something that I would probably need to check. But still, if if this is worse than the iPad mini, then that's another reason why this is absolutely horrendously overpriced for what it can do, because you can get an iPad mini for like what, 500, I think, brand new from where I'm from, about 500. This costs 700, or actually no, this costs more. Euros are a little bit translated a little bit differently, so this would be like what, $800 to $900. It comes with a pen, but is it really worth it that much? So yeah, that being said, comparing all of these three, this seems to be the best choice for majority of the people, creators as well. This just seems ridiculously oversized. Like, this is 14.5 inches of display. This is what some people have as a laptop screen at a smaller size, and that is okay. But this is a tablet, this isn't a laptop. So yes, you can make it into a laptop, but then at that point you might as well just go with a laptop instead of paying over 1,000 euros for this. So let me just kind of make that comparison. With this kind of device, this is approaching a decent, and I mean really decent laptop. I believe you can get, maybe not get, but a little bit bigger screen, but still probably a little bit similar price. Something like a little bit older Lenovo Legion, just as an example. This, you can go with whatever you want, but yeah, Lenovo Legion, which will have a dedicated graphics, a decent processor, and have way more horsepower, again with I believe 120 or 144 hertz. So the only thing you will be missing on that is basically a touchscreen. So yeah, that's about all you get. But at this kind of size, if you're planning to go for portability and have the actual like pen support and stuff like that, go for this one. This is overpriced and doesn't give you, like, it's approaching, like I mentioned, for the on a tablet, not tablet, but laptop territory, it doesn't even have a keyboard. So what the heck is going on here? Like, the price, Snapdragon is good, but I don't think it's good enough to substitute for a actual like computer, at least in my mind. So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend going for this one in any kind of way unless you just strictly are a creator and you need that huge display with a pen support, because at that point I think this might be cheap. If you look at drawing tablets as an example that do have a screen, they are quite expensive and they also need a computer. This does not, so you do have a benefit of that, but still, in my opinion, this is a decent size for whatever this you would want to do here at a more reasonable price with the virtually the same exact specs. So there we go. Anyway, this was kind of more of a rant right here comparing these devices, just because the pricing compared to what you get for them is a little bit kind of wonky. Personally, I would really love to like this device just because I prefer tablets to be a little bit smaller, but like I mentioned, for whatever this does, I think iPad might be a little bit better just because of that price tag. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you found some kind of information here useful to your case, maybe you're picking, and if so, it'll be nice if you could hit that like button. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.